Hello, Year Sevens. In today's lesson, we will be building on the previous lesson where we focused on the internal structure of the leaf. The focus of today's lesson is the roots. We will be exploring the way that roots are adapted. That means what makes them good at doing their job, the job of photosynthesis. Please ensure that you're in a quiet place away from any distractions and that you're fully equipped to begin your lesson. Your first task is to complete the retrieval practice. There are 3 questions. What 3 things can you remember about stomata? List 3 things that you can remember about leaf cells. And what is the function of chloroplasts? Please pause the video and do these now. You may have written that through stomata, the plant takes up CO2, that they are found on the underside of the leaf, and that they have guard cells. I hope that you have remembered that leaf cells have chloroplasts. They are found in the top layer of the leaf and they absorb sunlight. Finally, chloroplasts absorb sunlight and also make leaves green. Our success criteria is to understand the structure and function of roots, to recognize how roots are adapted to their specialized function, and to compare a typical plant cell with a root hair cell. From our previous lesson, we talked about the fact that roots absorb water and minerals and anchors the plant into the ground. The stem supports leaves and branches. And some new information for you, the xylem and the phloem connects the root to the leaves, and the leaves are the main organ of the plant, and this is where photosynthesis takes place. Leaves are usually broad and flat so that they can get plenty of sunlight. This is the energy source that drives photosynthesis. This is an example of the root hair cell. The root hair cell has a long hair-like structure that comes out from the body of the cell. This increases its surface area and enables the efficient uptake of water and mineral. There is no waxy layer on the outside. The thin cell wall allows for quicker uptake of water, and there's no chloroplast. Can you think why there's no chloroplast, Year 7? That's correct. Because they're found underground, there is no light for photosynthesis. So therefore, there would be no need for chloroplasts. This xylem vessel that we talked about in the previous slide transport water and minerals from the roots up the plant stem and into the leaves. In summary, root hair cells have thin membranes to ensure a shorter diffusion distance, and the long cell membrane gives a larger surface area for diffusion. So how do plants absorb water? Plants absorb water through this process called osmosis. Osmosis is the diffusion of water molecules from a region where the water molecules are higher in concentration to a region where they're lower in concentration. So let's see how well you have been listening, Year 7. Here are some sentences for you to complete. Please pause the video and do these now. So what is the role of the roots? The role of the roots is to absorb water and minerals from the soil. By which process does water enter the roots? Water enters the plants by osmosis. Why does having a long membrane help the root hair cells to take in more water? Roots have a long membrane because they need a large surface area to take in more water. What is osmosis? Osmosis is the diffusion of water molecules from a region of high concentration to a region of lower concentration. Please pause the video and correct your work now. So we have 2 examples of root hair cell. On the left, we can see the water absorption. We can see the root hair cell. We can actually see the soil particles surrounding it, which anchors it into the ground. And on this side of the slide, we can see the absorption of mineral and ions. we can also see more clearly the nucleus, the vacuole, the cellulose, and the cell wall. Fantastic listening, year sevens. So how do plants absorb mineral ions? Minerals such as nitrate, magnesium, and phosphate are absorbed from the soil. These minerals are absorbed by active transport, which requires energy. The cell has lots of mitochondria to release the energy needed for active transport. Here is a quick progress check for you. All I'm looking for is one-word answers. What is taken up by the root hair cells? How do the root hair cells take in this substance? And why do you think plants need this substance? First one would be water is taken up by the root hair cells. How do the root hair cells take in this substance? Through osmosis. And why do you think plants need this substance? In order for photosynthesis to take place. Fantastic work, year sevens. Now, I would like you to compare a root hair cell to a typical plant cell. On the left, you should be familiar with a typical plant cell, and then you've got your root hair cell. Well, how are they similar and how are they different? Please pause the video and think about this now. You may have said that both root hair cells and plant hair cells Both root hair cells and plants have a cell membrane. They have a cell wall, a nucleus, a cytoplasm, and they're different because the root hair cell has no chloroplast because there's no need for it. It's got a longer cell membrane in a root. There's a longer cell membrane in a root hair cell, and there's more mitochondria in a root hair cell. Here are some model answers from students. Student number 1 says, both cells have the same parts as they are both plant cells, so can both be found somewhere on a plant. Student 2 says, both cells have a nucleus, cytoplasm, cell membrane, and a cell wall. However, the root hair cell has a more elongated cell membrane compared to a typical cell. The root hair cell does not have chloroplast and also has more mitochondria than the typical cell. And student number 3 says, a typical plant cell has a nucleus, cytoplasm, vacuole, chloroplast, mitochondria, and a cell wall. A root hair cell has nucleus, cytoplasm, vacuole, mitochondria, and a cell wall. Now, I want you to think which of these responses you'd consider to be the most effective and why. Please pause the video and do this now. You may have noticed that this answer did not state any plant organelles and did not include any comparison, and the question did require comparison. However, in this response, they named all of the organelles and they were able to make comparison between the two types of cell. And for student number 3, their answer is good because they named all of the organelles found, but they have not made comparisons between the two types of cell. So how did you get on, year 7? Please have a go at marking your work now before completing our final activity, which is to write these sentences down and to fill in the gaps. So, in closing, leaf cells contain chloroplast, which absorbs sunlight, and on the underside have stomata, which allows carbon dioxide to enter the leaf. At the other end of the plant, the root hair cells take in water via osmosis. Both these parts are important for photosynthesis. Well done for your work, year 7s. Have a fantastic day.